Welcome back. This is SleeplessRonin, and I was asked to do a ranking for all of the boxes, lances, the stars, and I'm even going to include the starter box from the Catalyst Game Labs Battletech Kickstarter. So I've gathered all 21 boxes, lances, stars, etc., and I put them in the tier maker. Again, as per usual, I have a link to the tier maker I'm using right here in the comments below, so you can go and you can rank them yourself. But this is my rankings. I'm going to do my judgment based upon several factors. One, the quality of the miniatures in the box. Two, the how much fun I think they are on the tabletop kind of thing. How useful the mechs are overall, how good the mechs are, which is a bit more fuzzy, squishy stuff. More of my personal opinion. And this whole thing, of course, is my personal opinion, as all of my ranking lists are. So take it with a grain of salt, obviously. What I've done for this one, I've created, once again, 5 categories. The first category is double down. Get 2 or more of this box. In this category, probably anything that I've ordered 2 of is going to be listed, or more of. Next is definitely get at least 1. Honestly, I could probably put every box in this category, but this is not me we're talking about at this point in time. This is kind of like my opinion of how the people should be buying. If they're like you on a budget, what boxes should be in there? Definitely get 1 category. Probably get 1. This is the on the cusp of budget boxes. They're good, but maybe they don't really fit into what you want to have. And so, maybe not. If you get a bit extra cash, get them. If you don't get them. Meh, buy or don't. This is the absolute bottom of the, maybe I want it, maybe I don't. Very few mechs in this, maybe it'd be like very few mechs in the box will be mechs that I like or I think are useful for a lot of different groups or something like that. And the last category, which I'm honestly expecting not very much to fall into at all, I mean, if anything does, is going to be the not worth getting category. But let's get started with this. The very first lance we've got is the Adhoc Star. I said lance, I meant star. It's the Adhoc Star. It's got the Hellion, the Kodiak, Pack Hunter, Fire Falcon, and Howler in it. And, I like several of those mechs pretty well. I mean, I definitely like the Kodiak, and I definitely like the Hellion. But unless you're a big Ghost Bear fan, this is not exactly the best lance in the world. I mean, or best star in the world. It's good, but it's a bit on the lightweight side, which is fine. You need lights in your armies as well. But if you're not a big Ghost Bear, I think I've said that twice now, Ghost Bear fan, it's not the most important star to get. I know other clans use the Kodiak, but it's really their totem mech, so it's their biggin. I personally love the Hellion out of it. That's my personal favorite mech in the whole thing. But I do like the Kodiak a lot. So I think I'm going to put this in the probably get 1 category, because it's, it's right there on the cusp. If you're a Ghost Bear fan, it's definitely going to be higher. If you don't like Ghost Bear at all, it's going to go lower. I mean, really the Kodiak is the centerpiece of that star. Next up, we have the Innosphere Battle Lance. Now, this one's from Wave 1, but I'm still going to include it. It's got the Rifleman, Marauder, Wasp, and Phoenix Hawk. And this is a really, really good lance. I mean, personally, I love the Warhammer and the Phoenix Hawk, and I like the Rifleman well enough. Wasps are the 6.96 20-tonners from the Innosphere that, I don't know, they barely seem like they have a competent role. They're not great at being scouts because they're not 7-11s or faster, and they're not combat worthy because they spend too much weight on speed and not enough on armor and weapons. I mean, most of them carry barely a medium laser plus either a machine gun or SRM. There is a version of the Stinger that carries 2 mediums, making it slightly more competent, but still, they are not fantastic mechs. So I think this is going to definitely get at least 1 category. I did buy 2 of it myself because I love the Warhammer and the Phoenix Hawk that much. Next up, we've got our first of our Comstar. We got the Comstar Battle Level 2, and this is a heck of a pack. I mean, we got the Flashman, Crockett, Guillotine, Mongoose, Lancelot, and Crab. And I don't think a mech I listed off on there is not fantastic in somewhere in there. The Crockett, if you're looking at the Katana version, does really lack in some cases, but the Crockett itself is a pretty solid mech. The Flashman's resculpt looks truly fantastic, and I love the Mongoose. The Mongoose is one of my... I was shocked by this, but when I opened up all my mechs, the Mongoose is actually one of my favorite sculpts in the new stuff. It's just so cool. It's this little, fast-looking little bugger. I mean, it looks great. The Crab is good. Obviously, it's a Crab. And I actually really like the redesign on the Lancelot. I mean, this is an amazing pack. And since you can use a lot of these mechs in other factions beyond Comstar, it's a great pickup. I mean, of those mechs listed, the Flashman and the Mongoose do appear in Krita formations a lot. So does the Crockett. I'm fairly certain the Lancelot and the guillotine appear in some of them like Rasselhag, and the crab can be found in various other places as well. So you can get this, and you don't have to paint it up as Comstar or Word of Blake or anything like that, and you can still use these mechs all over the place. They're fantastic. It's a great one. This is our first double down, get 2 of it. Next up, we got the Clan Invasion starter box itself. This is 5 mechs and 2 elemental points. We've got Timberwolf, Executioner, Grindel, Nova, Puma. Sorry, Adder. I used the wrong one. And honestly, I mean, I really like 3 of the mechs out of there. And one of them is pretty good, and the other one is meh. I mean, I think this box, especially since you get 2 elemental points, is definitely one you've got to get one of. I mean, especially if you're new into Battletech, this is like the second box you should get. Well, you get the beginner's box, because the only place you can get a plastic Griffin right now. You get the Game of Armor Combat box, and then you buy this box. So it's like definitely a get one, or it's definitely a get. It's a definite get one. It's definitely get one of it. I think you need one. And besides, it's a Timberwolf. Next up, we have the Innosphere Command Lance. This is the other Wave 1 Innosphere Lance. This one has got the Stinger, Marauder, Archer, and Valkyrie. This one I don't think is as good as the Battle Lance, because it's got the Valkyrie and the Stinger in it. And the Stinger is another 20 tonners I've already talked about and went on a little rant about when I talked about the Wasp. The Valkyrie is a heavier light, but it's slower than the Stinger and the Wasp. Mounts usually a medium laser and an LRM, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's great as a light, long-range harasser, but it's not really a super combat-y mech. I mean, I don't know. I've always felt the Valkyrie is like a black sheep of the lights, because it doesn't seem to fit into almost anything, in my opinion, except for like as an add-on to a long-range support lance. The Archer and the Marauder, though, are fantastic, and I really like both the sculpts, because the Marauder kind of, like, it has the elements and the feel of the old Unseens, but yet it's still new sculpt, which makes it fantastic. And the Archer it's cool. It always has been a cool mech. Some variants aren't so great, some variants are amazing, so yay. But I think that this is, I mean, definitely get at least one of it, maybe 2. I mean, I did get 2 again, because I got 2 of all the stuff from Wave 1. All the Innosphere stuff from Wave 1, because I wanted it. And, yeah, definitely get at least one of this. I don't know if you should get more or not. That's up to you. I mean, I wish you could get the Marauder. I mean, the Marauder, I wish you could get more of those without buying this box. And if you got the Legends box, which I did not rank in this, I did not do the Legends, because the Legends, I personally think, since that's a Kickstarter only thing, and the rest of these are available outside of Kickstarter. This is what I'm talking about. These are the ones you can get outside of the Kickstarter. Since the Legends was Kickstarter only, I chose not to include it. Next up, we've got the other Comstar box. This is the Comstar Command Level 2. And in it, we've got a Black Knight, King Crab, Highlander, Sentinel, Mercury, and Executioner. And 4 of those mechs are really fantastic mechs. The Sentinel and the Mercury are okay. The Mercury's a good scout. The Sentinel is just kind of a weird meh. The benefit, though, is you get the resculpt of the Sentinel, and the resculpt of the Sentinel no longer looks like a cancerous testicle on legs. It actually looks pretty cool now. That's a major improvement. The King Crab is a really nice model out of this set, and so is, in my opinion, the Executioner. I love them both. I think they're fantastic. The Highlander's pretty nice. It's a bit chonky, which is fine. And the Black Knight's a good resculpt. Mine ended up coming with a bent barrel. I'm going to have to do some work on that to get it fixed, either hot water and stuff like that, or do some other work to get it fixed. But, it's still a pretty good model. I do like it overall. I think that this one, unless you're an absolute fanatic for the King Crab, is a get one. I don't think you need more than one of this one, really, but it's a get one. Next up, we have the Clan Command Star. Again, this is a Wave 1 box, which you will note I'm doing specifically on purpose. The Wave 1 ones are images of the box itself, and not just of the Star, Lance, or Level 2. It's to distinguish them visually on here, so you can actually see and tell the difference. So this is the Clan Command Star from Wave 1. It's got the Shadow Cat, Stormcrow, Direwolf, Summoner, and Mist Lynx. I really like that one. I think the direwolf's a bit insane in the game overall. I mean, you usually don't field him unless you really want to hurt your opponent and make them feel bad about life in general. But everything else in there is pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of the missed links, but that's some of the early clan lights I have other issues with, so I'm not super fan of it. But the Shadowcat is one of my personal favorite clan mediums. I mean, it's just cool. And the Stormcrow is like one of the best clan mediums. And the Summoner is just an all-around fun mech. So I think it's a pretty good one. I think this is definitely a get one of. And, if you're someone like me who ended up getting getting a Summoner in a salvage box and getting like 3 dire wolves in a salvage box, you don't need more than one of it anyways. Maybe you weren't as unlucky as I was and you got a better variety. I mean, I would have killed to have gotten some more Shadowcats or Stormcrows in my salvage boxes, but no. Here, have all the dire wolves you will ever need. I nearly had a star of dire wolves. Next up, we have the Innosphere Direct Fire Lance. This lance consists of a Marauder 2, fantastic, an Atlas, an Orion, and a Crusader. And I love this box. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the Atlas in general. It's always just been a giant, chonky boy with a skull face. Yay! But some people really like it. But for me, the other 3 mechs truly make this box fantastic. I've always loved the Marauder 2. It's a wonderful mech, and it just looks cool. It looks like a Marauder, like with more to it, which is just cool. And the resculpt of the Orion is very sweet, but the real shining star of this box is the resculpt of the Crusader. I've already nabbed 2 of this box, even though it's Wave 2. Apparently, it's the only one that's like right now available in stores or that's been able to be a hold of, because I've seen several places have it in. Fantastic box. I love it. I mean, the Crusader and the Orion alone make the box fantastic. The Marauder 2 is cake on top of that. And the Atlas is a nice bonus if you like Atlases. So this one's definitely going the double down category. For one thing, I've already bought 2 of it. So, it's got to go in there, I think. Even though I did buy 2 of the One Wave 1 when I said it was probably not necessary unless you were, loved the mechs like I do. Next up, we have the Clan Elemental Star. Wave 1. And it's the only box I've seen just sort of sitting on the shelves in my LGS. I mean, everything else that was Battletech from Wave 1 they got in, sold, gone, off the shelves. Blitzed out of there. Gone. There are still Elemental boxes sitting around because, in all truth, I don't know. I mean, even I don't field a lot of elementals myself when I'm running campaigns or when I'm playing competitively or anything like that. They're nice in some instances, but they're slow unless you're escorting them with a mech. I don't know, they're just weird overall. I like having a few of them. I've kind of toyed with the idea of getting a box of this, but I actually didn't get any of these aside from the 2 elemental points that came in the Clan Invasion starter box. So I think this is going to be the first box I'm actually going to put in the not worth getting category. And I'll tell you why. A little secret that I've done for elementals, and I imagine a lot of players out there have done the same thing. I bought a pack of elementals from Ironwood Metals years ago, and I attached them one at a time to pennies to count as an entire point of elementals just to represent on the tabletop because it's more efficient. It doesn't take up as much space since you can stack elementals with mechs and tanks and stuff like that. So it doesn't take up as much space. And in all truth, I didn't need, to jam 5 guys on a base. Not like when I'm playing an infantry unit, I jam 28 men on a base. I maybe get 9 if I'm lucky. Although I nowadays put infantry on small little 25mm bases and put 6 guys on there to, this represents a whole unit. Efficiency, not exact representation sometimes is necessary. This is a board game that's played with hexes on a tabletop. I mean, it's fun to play 3D terrain, but you don't even have to do that. So, to your own flavor, but I think that the elemental box might be the one box you can just sort of pass on. Next up, we have the Innosphere Fire Lance. I originally was not going to get this lance, but then I ended up buying one of it because I ended up getting one of everything at least. And all truth, I'm kind of glad I did get it because the Zeus is cool. The longbow is a fantastic model. It's got some stellar, awesome detail on it. A Stalker is a great mech, and I don't know why I wouldn't have gotten it for that. And a Trebuchet is just a really core media mech used in a lot of factions. I mean, really, it's a very used mech. So this is definitely, I would say get at least one of this lance because those mechs are going to fit into a lot of slots. Next up, we have the Clan Firestar. We got some really good mechs in this. We've got the Cougar, the Kit Fox, Fire Moth, Warhawk, and best of all, the Nova Cat. Now I know people are going, ooh, the Warhawk, 4 PPC kind of thing with targeting computer. Yeah, that's all fun and good. No, I will take the Nova Cat over any of those mechs any day of the week. The Nova Cat is a truly fantastic mech. The rest are pretty good in there. I mean, you got one of the fastest mechs in the entire game, the Fire Moth. The Kit Fox is a good long-range sniper for the clans. The Cougar is a nice long-range support mech. The Warhawk is what we've already talked about. It's a direct fire, insane mech, just firing shells downfield that terrify your opponent, although it overheats like a crazy monster. But it's the freaking Nova Cat that is the star of this box. I mean, I only got one of it, but I'm tempted to get a second one. But this is a definitely get one of this lance, definitely, or this star. Did it again. Next up, the Innosphere Heavy Battle Lance. This lance contains a Night Star, good mech, the Axeman, Bushwhacker, and Cataphract. Again, I can't see a bad mech in this whole freaking lance. The Axeman is a big, awesome axe-wielding mech. The Cataphract is a very solid mech. I personally have always loved the Bushwhacker because it looks crazy cool. And the Night Star is like an Innosphere double Gauss-wielding insane monster mech. So who doesn't love that? I mean, these are fantastic. These are fantastic mechs. I think this is one of those ones you should just go and buy 2 of right away and just not even think about it. Next up, the Clan Heavy Battle Star. This star contains 3 fantastic mechs, 1 really good mech, and 1 of the biggest disappointments in the entire game. We have the Turkina, fantastic. Kingfisher, fantastic. Ugly is all get out. Even with the improved sculpt, it's still an ugly mech. The Cauldronborn, oh yeah, the Ebon Jag Cauldronborn, I love that mech. I will always love that mech. The Huntsman, very good. Nice mech, good mech. And the biggest disappointment the clans have produced in I don't know, maybe ever, the Crossbow. The Crossbow is a awful mech. Terrible mech. Truly awful. But there are 3 stars, 1 truly good, 1 good mech, and 1, this is, again, I know this we just keep going on and on and on about this category, but you should buy at least 1 of these, especially if you're a Jade Falcon player or a Smoke Jag player. Maybe 2. Double down that Turkina, double down that Cauldronborn. Ebon Jag, sorry, whichever one. I can't remember which is the Innosphere or the clan name on that one right now. I literally just forgot because I was talking about it. Left my head. Next up, the Innosphere Heavy Lance. This is a fantastic lance. It's got the Grasshopper, Banshee, Centurion, and Hatchetman. Now, I wish the Centurion had been a little bit more like the one in MechWarrior Online, because I love that shield plate they carry on their left arm, and the big, extra, plating that goes up on the right arm for the MechWarrior Online one. I think it just looks more dynamic and really cool, and it's got a bigger, head fin. I like that. But, oh man, these mechs are fantastic. The Banshee is a wonderful sculpt in this thing. And the Grasshopper, well, beyond being an amazing mech, is just a fantastic sculpt again. The Hatchetman, honestly, looks like a Hatchetman. I mean, there's really not much change in that mech. It is what it is. It's still good, but it's very much almost unchanged, really. Still, it's a very good a lance. Well, and if you're playing Fedcom, this is like a buy. Or FedSuns, Fedcom, whichever one. Buy. Doesn't matter. Those mechs just going to be used all day long. Especially the Centurion and the Hatchetman. You're going to feel lances of those bastards. So have fun with those. I think this is probably a double down. Just because it's so good overall. Next up. The Clan Heavy Star. If you want your 2C goodness, this is your Clan Star. This is an amazing star. Also, if you want a star that's nearly 500 tons, I mean, it's not quite, it's over 400 plus tons in this stupid star. This is where you go. This thing has got a Stone Rhino, 100 tonner, Marauder 2C, double this another 100 tonner, Warhammer 2C, 85-tonner. Supernova, assault mech, I think it's 90 tons off the top of my head. Don't quote me on that right now. And then a Hunchback 2C. Okay, whatever. That's like a mech that's like half the weight of everything else in that whole star. Yeah, no. This is a chonky star. This star is all weight, all guns, all the time. It has a hard time moving up the battlefield because it's pretty darn slow, but doesn't matter. Every one of these mechs, except for the Hunchback 2C, really, has a primary weapons loadout that can reach out and tickle your opponents from like 23 hexes or more, usually. We're talking ER large lasers, Gauss rifles, and ER PPCs on all of these things for the most part. It is a weapons loadout of insanity I'm looking at right here. And it is heavy, but awesome. And if you want to field that second line star, this is the star to start with. I think that this one, as long as you don't mind the tonnage weights, is a buy too, because wow, is it cool. Also, who doesn't want to get 2 of that Stone Rhino sculpt? Oh, it's like the original old cover of the 3050 technical readout, only without one gun. Now it's got 2 guns, as it should have, up top. That is a magnificent sculpt. Also, I personally really love the Warhammer 2C out of that, because the Warhammer 2C in that one actually looks a lot like its artwork from the same book, which is just awesome. Very fantastic star. Very fantastic star. Next up, we have the Clan Heavy Striker Star. This is back again to another one of the Wave 1 stars. But it has some solid mechs in it. We've got the Mad Dog, Viper, and Ice Ferret. I like those 3. Then we've got the Hellbringer, which is like, I want a lot of guns and electronic equipment, but I forgot about armor. And then the disappointing mech in there is the Gargoyle. Is just, why? It's a fast assault mech. I'm not a big fan of it. It's like, it's not as bad as the Charger, but it's still not one of my favorite mechs in the world. It's also, even though it's got a much better sculpt than it used to have, it's not a pretty mech in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the prettiest mech in that whole thing is the Mad Dog, which is just awesome looking, cool mech. And I like it. Now, of course, the Ice Ferret is also got at least one good loadout. It's a I'd say get one of it. Probably get one. It's not my favorite star by a long shot. Next up, the Innosphere Striker Lance. This is a really light lance. I mean, we're talking light. We've got a Wolfhound, a Panther, Blackjack, and Jinner. Of those mechs, I really like 2 of them. I tolerate one, and I'm not a big fan of the other one. Honestly, it's hard to say meh on this one, but I'm really tempted to, because aside from the Wolfhound and the Jinner, I'm not really a huge fan of the mechs in there. I don't mind the my opinions on the Panther have been shifting back and forth. I know in my videos I dissed the Panther pretty hard. I don't mind it. I just not a big fan of it. And the Blackjack has never been a mech I've liked. I think it looks ugly for one thing too. So yeah, this is gonna be a buy or don't buy one. I mean, it's really hard to say because I love Jinners, especially the Armored Jinner. And Wolfhounds are such a good mech. I mean, they're such a good mech. It's hard for me to place this one. But it's a 50-50 lance. I mean, for some people I know, they're going to just go, oh, Panther's got to buy. That's fine. Jump it up higher for you. That's good. Next up, we have the Clan Striker Star. Horned Owl, Vapor Eagle, Piranha, Incubus, and Hellhound. Fantastic. I love this one. In fact, the only mech in there I actually don't like really using very much is the Piranha, just because that's a lot of machine guns, and that's just silliness. But everything else is just fantastic. I love the Horned Owl sculpt. It looks so much like a Gundam's Zaku, like the original Gundam, going back to the original stuff with, Amuro Ray and that stuff. It looks like a Zaku, and it's just so cool. These, again, are fantastic second liners. They'll make a really great complement to the big, heavy Stone Rhino Warhammer 2C thing. So, you know what? Buy 2 of it, because you want some more friends for that other star, don't you? Next up, the Innosphere Support Lance. Okay, we got a Thug, Cyclops, Dragon / Grand Dragon, and Spider. weird that the spider's in there because everything else is pretty heavy. I mean, the spider's fantastic, and wow, the sculpt of the Cyclops is a really nice sculpt. Although he's a really hefty looking boy now, even though he's usually relatively lightly armored, he's hefty. The Thug sculpt is really nice, and I actually like the Dragon sculpt a lot because they made it kind of shortish. Makes it look kind of like more like a lower like a height like sports car almost. It's kind of cool. I actually pretty well like this Lance. I think that this one, especially if you're a Karita player, because like there are 2 staple Karita mechs in this one again, and thugs are just cool. I think this is a definitely get 1, maybe 2 if you're a Karita player. Next up, the Clan Support Star. This is not a bad star. It's got, it's pretty good. It's got the Arctic Cheetah, Black Lantern, Battle Cobra, Linebacker, and Night Gear. It's interesting that we're really touching on a lot of different clans in this pack, but it's a good one. But I mean, like, I like the Linebacker a lot. It's a speedy, heavy mech. I mean, we're talking a 6'9" heavy with some okay weaponry. The Night Gear is a real brawler, real good mech. I like the Black Lantern a lot, and the sculpt of the Black Lantern is actually really nice. The Battle Cobra, well, it tends to run pretty hot, but it's nice. I mean, for a totem mech, for a lightweight medium totem mech, it's not bad at all. Honestly, the Arctic Cheetah is like, it's okay. It's never been one of the most gorgeous mechs in the world, and they really made the sculpt. It looks like an Arctic Cheetah. There's no real change on the sculpt, so it is what it is. It's not a fantastic mech. It's not a bad mech. It's just there. I think in general, this is a probably get 1. I mean, I might go higher with it, but it's a if the mechs fit your like your style or your desires, probably get 1. It's not like a definitely get 1 of this one, unless you really want that Night Gear. That Night Gear is really good, so right there. And lastly, we have the Innosphere Urban Lance. Again, this is a Lance I almost skipped, but I decided, nah, I'll get it because I wanted to get 1 of everything. And I'm really glad I did, because I'll tell you, these sculpts on these mechs are pretty good. My Enforcer sculpt is a little bit leany backwards, which is a bit funny, but it's a really nice new Hunchback sculpt. The Raven sculpt is good, and I really like the Victor sculpt out of it. It's got like some real, mass to it, and it looks really nice. So I'm really glad I did get this one. Again, this is not what I'm going to say go out and grab this one unless you want those mechs. I think this is a probably get 1 Lance, which is, pretty good. I mean, again, I'm very positive about this whole Kickstarter. I loved this Kickstarter. It did take a little while to get stuff to us, but hell, we're in the middle of a global shipping crisis, so what can you say? And just it's all been fantastic. I've been opening it up was just so much fun, and I just I love all these mechs. So I'm so happy to get them, and yeah, I really can't complain about them. I really can't complain about them. Look at my list right here. This is very top heavy. This is go buy Battletech, people. Go buy Battletech. Absolutely go buy Battletech. I think I'm done right now. I've come to the end. So I'm going to do the usual YouTube thing, asking you to please like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and hey, go rank them yourself on TierMaker. Like I said, I'll have the list in the comment or the notes section below. And you can go and let me know how you think you want to buy these things. I mean, this is not exactly how I bought them, because I have a couple more up in the double down category, because it's me, and I love my Battletech. So, yeah. Like, subscribe, comment below. This is SleeplessRonin saying, we'll catch you in the future. Sayonara.